Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Erickson TV. Curtis here with Lauren. Hello Lauren.
Hey Curtis, everybody.
Hey Lauren, this was a recent article based on a survey done by Bank of America, and what they did is they surveyed 1,000 people. There must have been their clients that had what they call affluent financial assets, meaning that not including their real estate and their personal residence, they had between $50,000 and $250,000 of financial retirement assets, such as mutual funds or IRAs. And it was interesting that the biggest number one fear, these are people that are still working, by the way, not retired yet, and 55% of the respondents said that they have a fear of not having enough money in retirement, more than they fear any other stress such as losing their job or gaining weight, which was 25%.
Oh wow, that's still pretty high.
Right. The interesting thing is that 63% said though that they would rather prefer to have the money to live in the here and now versus prioritizing future retirement savings, and which only 48% said was a priority. And then part of the deal is that they said that so they know that they have a fear. So the conundrum is they have a fear of not having enough for retirement.
Right.
But they said that they don't want to cut back on their current discretionary expenses. So 33% said they're unwilling to cut back on entertainment, 30% said they will not reduce eating out, and 28% are willing to forego vacations.
Okay.
And then as it breaks down, they said some of the reasons that people are not feel like they're saving as much is because they continually have unexpected expenses such as children's education costs, having to pay off debts, having unexpected expenses that were not part of the budget. Okay. Right. Digging into it a little farther, and this is where it gets kind of interesting. I was surprised by this number, but 89% have a household budget, but only 66% are able to consistently, or actually 66% are unable to live within that budget.
Right.
Okay. And then more women, 59% than men, 51% are worried about not having enough retirement money.
Right.
But it was interesting to me was that more women than men are reluctant to cut back on dining out, clothing, and even technology costs. Okay.
Huh, interesting.
And then the last thing was 69% of the people in the survey that were divorced were worried compared to 53% that were married.
Okay, that makes sense too.
So what's your take on that?
That fits with a lot of what I've seen. There's a bunch of things that I could come up with, but I mean the first thing is that making a budget just doesn't seem to work.
Right.
I mean I think.
And what's the point of having a budget? Right. If things aren't gonna follow it anyway?
I think the main thing that I've seen that is beneficial about a budget is if somebody has never figured out what they're actually spending per month. Right. Just doing a budget and finding out can often be beneficial. But it goes back to something that I often talk about in my classes is that we do things based on habits and what our default is, and you just have to form new habits. I mean, telling yourself, well, I'm going to spend less money or whatever, it's never going to work. It has to become like a habitual thing, and like most things, it has to be replaced with something else. You can't, I shouldn't say you can't. Most people are not going to, for instance, spend less money on eating out unless there's something fun or good or exciting that replaces eating out, that they can move towards. They're not going to spend less money on entertainment unless there's something fun that doesn't cost money that replaces that. If we just sort of say, it just never works. I feel like it never works to just sort of have either to tell myself or to tell other people, we'll just do less of X. Right. There's got to be something we're moving towards. Right.
Yeah, and I think people forget that they seem to have a real strong. They seem to have a real strong preferential treatment to live in the now and not really worry about the future as much. And it comes across like how many people take early Social Security benefits.
Yes.
They don't think about the long-term ramifications. Yeah. So I think the takeaway from this is that people. We'll finish this episode this way. People do know that they have probably a very accurate fear that they may not have enough for retirement. Right. But it doesn't seem like they're willing to make the sacrifices to make that better. So, which is maybe an area that we could help in planning. Because that really would be maybe a reason to have an independent planner to help you. Maybe give you some discipline.
And just to figure out just how close you are to being on track or being off track. I mean, sometimes it's not that big of a difference that you need to make to get yourself kind of like on track, and people don't realize that.
All right. Well, thank you for watching this episode of Erickson TV. We'll see you next time. Bye
See you next time.